Hello, welcome. So today's talk is, can changing this one thing lead to freedom? Can changing this one thing lead to freedom? So as I think most people know, I am a massive fan of Nisargadatta Maharaj. He was Ramesh's teacher. Ramesh was Roger's teacher, and Roger and Ramesh were my teacher, but particularly Roger. And I so appreciate his teaching, and I know it not only from the books and reading about him, but also through Ramesh and Roger. Like it comes through their teaching. So Nisargadatta Maharaj recommends that the fundamental thing to practice for this realization is to put the attention into the feeling of the I am. So to move the personal attention, so personal consciousness. So personal consciousness to me is the ability to move attention. So you can put it on thoughts, you can put it on feelings, you can put it on sensations, and then you can also put it on the feeling of I am. He goes on to suggest that the feeling of I am is in the heart area. And he did this for 3 years. So he met his guru, and shortly after Nisargadatta met his guru died. But he says that he just totally trusted his guru and totally trusted the advice. And so then started to practice this, putting the attention on the feeling of I am. And he did it for 3 years, non-stop. And after the 3 years, there was a massive shift in experiencing. So he would say there was nobody experiencing anymore. So before I met Roger and Ramesh, or even knew about Nisargadatta, I had been practicing with a Buddhist group who didn't speak about putting the attention on the I am, but spoke about putting the attention in the present moment, which is very similar to the I am, but different in a way. But there is a similarity. You're bringing the attention out of the story of you, out of thinking about yourself. So normally the attention is just following the story of who you think you are and what you think you're doing. And then putting the attention in the present moment is breaking that habit of the personal consciousness always being lost in thinking, to bringing it back to what's actually happening, to presence. Nisargadatta, though, says to bring it back to the first I, the I am. He would say that's like the first identification. And through doing that, through staying in the I am, what eventually breaks and changes is the belief that that I am is who you are. So the way that I see it, I don't think Nisargadatta Maharaj quite puts it like this, but the way I see it is that you could call the I am the gateless gateway to freedom. So the I am, to me, is the personalized beingness, and beingness is your true nature. And it comes in as this feeling of I am, which feels like it belongs to someone. and that I am happy, I am sad, I am right, I am wrong, I am good, I am bad. So going back to the initial I am and staying there, there is the possibility to fall back into that which is the creator of the I am and prior to the I am, a pure beingness, a live presence. There's also this watching aspect to beingness, the consciousness. Not the personal consciousness. The personal consciousness is again like a gateway to the big consciousness. But beingness is experiencing itself. So it has this consciousness, and the beingness and the consciousness are lovers. They're actually one and the same thing. But they're kind of opposites. I kind of see the beingness as the everything, as the love, and I see the watching as the emptiness and the nothingness. So in Buddhism, they would say that the source of everything is formlessness and form, or emptiness and form. And I see the big consciousness and beingness when they're married, when they're no longer seemingly apart, as this emptiness experiencing itself as everything, this beingness. I find this teaching really beautiful and really divine. And I know you're asking yourself, but who would do that? Who is the person that would do that? And isn't that creating as somebody that does something? Well, you're separate. There is always going to be seeking. So if you don't seek for spirituality, you're going to seek for pleasure in the outside world, in sex, gaming, love, romance, money, house, kids, arguments, whatever. You're going to seek in the outside world. So this seeking is something for the person, but the person is seemingly going inwards. And it's not the person that arrives at beingness, but what seems to happen along the way is the person gets eaten up. So the person dissolves, and then there is a sinking back or expanding into the beingness. The person, though, always believes, I'm going to do this practice and I'm going to arrive at beingness. But that's a total illusion. Who would do the practice? So the one that is doing the practice is actually a thought, an imagination. So the movement of the personal consciousness is actually thought activity. Why? Because you can see it. You can see the movement. So anything you can see is within the dream. Pure consciousness is absolutely still and never moves. But the personalized consciousness is seemingly moving. So the personalized consciousness is something that's being witnessed. So the personal consciousness is a thought, and then the one that says, I'm going to do this, and moves the attention to the I am, is also thought activity. Your essence, who you truly are, never moves. However, you do this to break the habit of finding the answer in the mind and in life and in things. And then in breaking that habit, you get less. The seeking gets less, and something else begins to present itself. But that is not a you doing it. That is a lie. Who is this one that is seemingly practicing? That isn't who you are. Who you are is the beingness, and the big consciousness, which is always still, never moves, always is here, never left. So can putting the attention in the I am rather than putting it in consciousness or putting it in presence, like the Buddhists used to instruct me, can that change, or can that lead to freedom? And the answer is, who would be led to freedom? Who is the one that you imagine is going to wake up? However, I and Nisargadatta Maharaj and Roger Castillo and Ramesh Balsekar would all recommend this practice. Ramesh Balsekar maybe a bit less. It didn't mean he was against it, he just had other ways of teaching. Yeah. So life is always full of contradictions. Always full of contradictions. Who are you? Sat, Chit, Ananda. I love that. Nisargadatta Maharaj speaks about it a lot. It's when consciousness meets beingness, there is bliss. So where is consciousness and where is beingness in this dream? Ultimately, they're everywhere, but they seemingly come in through the personal consciousness and the feeling of I am. So all you need to do is follow those two back to the source. And in that process, the one that is following it back will disappear because it never existed. It's always been a dream. But there is seemingly been a losing oneself in that dream. So if you imagine this paper bag, and I pierced 20 holes in the paper bag, then I put it upside down, and then through the hole at the bottom, I put a lamp inside, and out of that paper bag, 20 holes of light shine. But yet it is one light inside the bag. So that you could say that the hole is like the person, and the light is consciousness. On this side of the bag, on the outside of the bag, the consciousness is seemingly personalized. It's seemingly located into a small line. It's got boundaries, and it seems to belong to the whole. And the bag can move if you move it, and then the angle seems to move, but actually the light never moves. Consciousness is always still. It's the bag which is moving, which you could say is the mind that's moving. And so what's being recommended is to follow the light back. Go through the hole and into the infinite, and you disappear into yourself. And Nisargadatta Maharaj's way of doing that is through the I am. Yeah. Okay, thank you to those that are on YouTube. If you want to join these private talks, you can find out how to do that on my website under the live streaming page. Yeah. Yeah, thank you everybody in YouTube. I really, really wish you everything.